All right, guys, here is a post called What Take No Action Really Means and the Total Illusion of Free Will in the 3D. Take no action has clearly confused a lot of people. What Neville meant when he said take no action, in whatever form he said it, is that your will does not need to be used to exert force on the 3D world in order to bring about what you want. And you don't need to toil mentally to try to figure out how to make things happen. Full stop. He's quite clear about this. The only free will you have, meaning the only place you can and should freely exercise your will, is in your imagination. All actions flow from the proper state. The Taoists say, do without doing and everything gets done. That's the spirit of action in 3D from the proper state. You take, sometimes massive, action naturally, easily, without the use of much, if any, force. Please do not make the mistake of construing this to mean you should not take any action to get what you want at all, ever, which is what many people seem to be doing. You'll be able to tell if you were trying to exert will to change your 3D or acting in alignment with your state by how taking the action makes you feel. It's a simple thing. Does it feel good and right, and do you feel the urge to do it? Do it. Do you feel a strong mental resistance / conflict or a bad gut feeling? Don't do it. You'll know one way or the other every time. The feeling might be small, but it's there. If you want to take seemingly obvious action, take it. See how you feel about it. If it feels bad, don't do it and continue meditating, satsing, or whatever until something happens or you feel motivated to take another action. So you want to get a better physique. This is actually a great example of this. If you've not fully adopted the state of the person with a better physique, living mentally in the end, then you will experience inner resistance to taking action. There will be inner conflict between taking the actions that will keep you out of shape and taking the ones that will move you to a changed 3D. Trying to take actions, whatever they are, that get you into good shape while your mind is still out of shape, fail eventually every time. When you've gotten to the point that you are mentally shifted into the state of that person with a good physique, you will be compelled naturally to do the things that are in alignment with that state, which obviously and often, not always, entails a lot of physical action and work. Impulses to do anything not in alignment with your end goal are effortlessly ignored where before they would have been considered or acted upon. So previously you get into a mental state and you start thinking about all the bad things that are going to happen, and then you self-soothe by eating a bunch of donuts or ordering a pizza at 1 a.m. You won't be doing those things anymore. From the wrong state of mind, your experience of trying to bring about a change like the above absolutely sucks and generally ends up with you spinning your wheels, taking one step forward, forcing yourself to do something you're mentally resisting, then 2 steps back where your true mental state exerts its power and brings you right back. This type of failure that we see everywhere around us, when we or other people try to make a change by exerting force on the 3D, is an awesome example of mental state creating reality, just not in the direction we'd like it to be going in. Say you want to build a business. If you haven't adopted the state of certainty that you're a success, that you are capable, know or will be shown everything you need to know to make everything work, then like above, you will waffle, have doubts about its possibility, your abilities, and have inner conflict about all your actions, invest in the wrong ideas, encounter failure, do the wrong things with the good opportunities you do find, etc., etc. When you have taken on the mental state that correlates to the successful enterprise, your eyes will be open to the opportunities that are right in front of you. The things that you need to learn will be easily found or just show up. However, you will then have to take action to learn them or take action to look for them. Neville and all the other greats are on the same about one thing, and that is that everything springs from your mind. Your outer reality reflects the contents of your mind down to the most minute details. Some goals will require huge amounts of action from you in the 3D. But when you are in the right state of mind, the work is exhilarating. There's no need to impose your will on yourself or the outside world in those circumstances because you are simply creating the 3D that is in alignment with the 4D. Sound like anyone you know? If you're struggling or toiling or frustrated with yourself in 3D, the mental shift has not happened or has regressed back and needs more work. Some big changes are multifaceted and require revisiting and tweaking. So there's a response Inspired action. The bottom line is that we have no idea why we do the things we do all day long. It's because, as according to Vadim Zeland, we are following a script. The script that has been outlined is based upon the current reality, but also our current self-concept, our current self-image, our current sense of self, which is an amalgamation of all kinds of things, experiences and beliefs that we have. Not to get too far down that tangent. We think things are our own ideas, but they really aren't. And that's why I love studying so many of these people. Napoleon Hill and Outwitting the Devil. It's very, very obvious from reading that book, and as well as Eckhart Tolle. We are not the mind. We are simply, the mind is going to do its own thing. And that's why we have to check the mind. That's why we have to engage in the process of consciously controlling our attention. And one effective method to do that is robotic affirmations. Another one is entering a feeling state. But the robotic affirmations help us enter that state, as well as visualization. The smallest of automatic actions you take throughout the day set into motion the things that materialize your intentions. You can see this in retrospect. If I hadn't made that split-second decision to stop by the hardware store, event A that led to event B that led to event C would never have happened. All that matters is the state. Everything springs from the state of mind, beliefs, and the subconscious. Every action, every conversation, all of the decisions you think your Earth avatar is making. The only thing you can do is begin to discipline your mind via meditation, sats, or whatever you do to shift. You don't have to force yourself to take action once this shift has happened, but depending on what you want, you may be taking lots of action to manifest your goal, to achieve your goal. So, personal examples from this person. I'll leave a link to the post down below. I took enormous amounts of action to create a multi-million-dollar business. I spent time thinking about what I could do, and when I was out trying one thing, I found the right thing, which led to other opportunities, etc. Once I was in the right business, in the right state of mind, the entire experience was awesome. I wouldn't trade it for the world, including months where I was working so much, I was sleeping 4 hours a night, falling asleep every time I sat down in a chair. I manifested my fiance at 42, seems relevant, with zero effort/direct action whatsoever. However, after I became 100% sure I'd meet him, I almost immediately took other actions, having no clue whatsoever that it would be how he found me. Posting here, another Neville Goddess sub love story, yo, and creating a YouTube channel, which I had no intention of doing and suddenly happened. I'm pretty convinced that the reason I felt compelled to do that was for him. But I put a lot of time and effort into creating content for both things, and it was my idea. And I did it just because I wanted to, and I was into the subject matter. When I first started all that stuff, I had no idea why I was doing it, as a fairly private, small circle, under the radar kind of person. So to tie a bow on it, if you don't make any effort to shift mentally, you will just keep getting whatever it is you're currently getting, effortlessly. Mental change is the only thing that produces lasting outer change, no matter how much you try to directly change the 3D with your will. Writing this as a reminder to myself most of all. Wow. And this is posted by Neville Goddess, aka Maggie Murphy, aka the person that I just mentioned who referred to the All Is Mine post, and I didn't even know that this post that I had found previously and went to go find just now was written by her. And she is an example. He is also an example. They're both speaking their truths, which is evident that they take action. Everybody that does anything in this, everybody that like All Is Mine said, anybody that you're aware of, if you want to practice modeling, if you see somebody and you are aware of them and you say, I want to adopt their qualities, which is how I've been ever since I was a child. I look up to certain people. They're like my heroes. They're my inspiration. These people, I don't admire them because they sit on their ass all day long. I admire them because they've taken massive action. They've created things. They've done things in the world. And that is why they're admirable people. And I seek to be somebody that I admire. That's what Elmer O. Locker says. He says, become somebody that you admire. And the way that you can do that is by showing up as the best version of yourself and giving to other people. That is what Vadim Zeland talks about in Transurfing and in Tufty the Priestess. It is taking steps towards your goal, and along that path, and Maxwell Maltz talks about this too, the mind is like, what he calls it is like a servo mechanism in psychocybernetics. So as we encounter failures, we then get directed to what it is to the right choice of action. But again, Maxwell Maltz is saying the same thing because he's talking about self-image, aka self-concept, which is that our self-image, self-concept is governing our approach to all this. So if we have this self-image that says, I'm a multimillionaire, I'm in fit physical shape, then we're gonna start taking the actions along that goal. Physical fitness is a great example. I can show you guys right now the fact that, let's see, let me adjust this camera real quick so I can show you guys. So I don't look particularly jacked right now, right? And I haven't even been going to the gym a lot lately. I mentioned that in a previous video, but check this out. A lot of people want to be physical. I mean, if you want to be physically fit, if you want to be strong and build strength, do you think, let's see here. You guys see this? All right. Okay, hopefully you guys can see that. And again, I'm not the biggest, I'm not the most jacked guy in the gym, definitely not. But what did I do just now? A lot of people cannot do one-arm push-ups. And I just pretty easily busted out 10 reps of one-arm push-ups without really having to struggle, without breaking a sweat. Why is that? Do you think it's because I simply just imagined and sat around that I could do that? I can tell you right now that the reason that I'm able to do that is because I built up to it. Yeah, I can imagine, and I can imagine myself getting stronger. I can imagine myself being strong, but the only way to build that strength so that the fibers, the muscle fibers in my chest and all the muscles around my body can allow me to do that is by doing it, by being that version of myself that can do it. And I progressed up to it. I built up to it. But, and I don't have the best cardio fitness. That's why I'm like a little bit out of breath right now. But I wanted to share this. I think that it deserves to be said. It needs to be said. And every single person, Maxwell Maltz, Wallace D. Wattles, Neville Goddess talks about Wallace D. Wattles a lot. And so I'm gonna do more of these comparison videos because I don't really think Neville's saying, I think that what happened is that Neville wrote these books in a certain way because he wanted them to be all mystical sounding and figurative and all this stuff. But I think that a lot of other people are using much more easy to describe language to understand this stuff, including Maxwell Maltz, including Wallace D. Wattles, including Emile Coué. And then there's another post, I'm gonna go into it right here. Next video, I'm gonna cover this one about Emile Coué, talking about your conscious willpower. Your effort and imagination, it's essentially attention minus effort. That's what Neville means when he says, do not lift a finger. That's what he says when he says, don't take action, or whatever the hell he said, okay? That people latch onto and they've latched onto it like a dog that won't let go. Vadim Zealand, every single person, they talk about taking action. So in the future, we're gonna be covering more of this, and we're gonna be going into other ways of looking at this so that you guys can embrace this aspect of it, embrace the physical as well as the metaphysical, and really begin to see action and progress towards your goals, because it is sad. I agree with Maggie that it's a sad thing to see people out here trying to get what they want, trying to bring what it is that they want into their life, thinking that they can't and that they won't take action. It's very sad. Anyways, guys, much love as always. Drop this with a like, hit me with a subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.